Hi, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kira.
And we are
the Keepers of the Books,
your online librarians. We're here with our weekly reads.
This first book is the first in the Atlas of Cursed Places, called Breakdown. The main characters are Maddie and Owen. They are at a cave called Pike's Cave with her mom, investigating a person's disappearance when the roof at the restaurant they're at for lunch caves in, and Maddie sees a ghost who says, Pike, an evil spirit is involved, and they have to stop him. The next day, her mom's gone. They have to retrack the mom's steps and path to figure out what happened to her mom and what the ghost really meant by Pike is behind the disappearance. This is your very action-packed thriller, supernatural book. You will not be able to put it down from page 1. It's by Darby Creek, so it's also a high-low reading level, which means high interest, low reading level. So it's a great reluctant reader story. I definitely like this series because the font's very dyslexic friendly, and so I was able to read it really quickly, and I think this is a great addition to any Supernatural fans collection as well.
One thing we haven't told you is that Kira is actually mildly dyslexic. When she tells you that a font's dyslexia friendly, it's true. It means there's plenty of space, the font's easy to read, there's space on the outside and between the lines. Now, we will do a video on dyslexia and cover all of that in a video all by itself, so we won't get too into that. Darby Creek is a division of Lerner Books, and this is a review book from Kiss the Book, so kissthebook.blogspot.com. Now, these books are also great. They're high-low books, or to my students, I like to call them lightning reads. Lightning reads read fast. They keep you engaged. The chapters are generally short, and they usually end in a cliffhanger. This one's chapters are a little longer. They're about 6 pages. And not only that, lightning reads are designed so that kids want to read them, especially your kids who don't want to read. So they're good for the kids who don't like to read. They're good for the kids who read at a lower level, that are a little older, and they're action-packed, and you can't put them down. They leave out a lot of the description and just put in the important details for the most part.
This book is perfect for grades 7 to 12 or ages 12 and up. Does have a little bit of violence in it, so that's the only reason I rate it a little bit higher.
YouTube has changed the way you subscribe to the videos now. So not only do you have to hit the subscribe button and make sure it says subscribed, there is a picture of a bell, and that's your notifications. Depending on what kind of device you're on, that may be in a different place. It may be up on the top right if you're on an iPad, like above the video and above the recommended list of videos, like for your next ones, and you just click on that. Or you may have to go into your subscribe list, depending what you're viewing on. Click the little bell so that you hear about the videos. So if you haven't been getting reminders about the videos and you would like to, please make sure you click on the little bell. My first book is Eden's Escape, and this is by M. Tara Crowl. This is a review book from Disney Hyperion, and I read the first one, Eden's Wish, and I just fell in love with it because it is just the cutest little story about a genie, and she does not exactly like the world she lives in. She feels confined, living in a lamp. I wonder why. But she knows that she has to grant 1,000 wishes, and her 1,000th wish is her own. So she grants, of course, in sets of 3, which is the first 999 wishes. But the 1,000th wish is hers, and she will get to be free, and she will become an alum. I won't tell you everything that happened in the first book. Just know that in this one, Eden's greatest wish has already been granted, and she hasn't even come close to finishing all of her ones. So she's living in New York with an alum named Piper. There are 2 factions of the alum, the ones that they still work with the lamp and they're still good, and then there's Electra. Electra is the genies who are kind of like, well, they're the bad genies. After they graduate and move on, and they want the power of the lamp for various reasons. Now this one, of course, you still have our evil genies, and you have other people who find about genies and want the power of the lamp. So Eden's in New York, she's living with Pepper, who's the alum, and she's like her new best buddy, and they're going to different events and having fun, and all of a sudden Eden disappears in the midst of a group. The lamp has been rubbed, somebody is getting their wishes. Eden's like, okay, get a hurry, let's hurry up. Most people get their wishes and it's like an hour, 2 tops. And she seems to be stuck. This man named Brightly has her in his laboratory. He's hooked her up to machines. She's apparently, they know she's lying to him with the Veritas this machine, and he's like really powerful, and he controls like most of the world's cell phones, and she doesn't know what to do. The lamp has been ensconced in a plasma field, and she can't get to it. She can't get back in the lamp. Her emergency backup plan is not working, and she has to escape. And she's stuck in Paris by herself, and of course she meets friends along the way and people who are willing to help her. And Eden's just kind of out in the cold, except for a girl about her age who helps her. And of course, that's where our story begins. You know, while the book is really aimed at a middle reader to a little into the YA range, because Eden's 12, 13, I mean, there's nothing in the book that is too scary or anything, so you could go grades 4 through 8 with this book. But I think you'll find that if you have a good reader who's reading at a higher level, this is a safe bet. Or if you have a 9th grader who just wants a fun, easy pink read, this is a good bet. Now, let's explain the term pink read. A pink read is what we call a girly book. They generally do not appeal to boys, and they usually have pink covers. But you are seeing some purple or blue or fancy dresses, like the selection cover. That's a pink cover. Like all the dresses, the covers with dresses are generally pink reads. That's what the term means, not a pink cover.
This next book is Star Wars Ashoka, and I may be pronouncing that wrong for Star Wars fans. Apologies. So in this book,
she's a Trekkie.
What can I say? In this book, Ahsoka has recently left the Jedi Force and her teacher Anakin, and she's gone to Rada, which is the small planet actually, that she's trying to hide out on, stay away from the Empire, and she's starting to lose her Jedi Force abilities because she's not using them. And she ends up running into the Rebel Alliance right as the Empire's coming to take over Rada. So she's forced into a leadership role against her better wishes. This is from the Star Wars Rebels series, and it's kind of fun to see a character's story fleshed out. You see a lot of flashbacks to her old life, so you get a few appearances from like Anakin and those guys. It's very action-packed. I definitely recommend it for any of you Star Wars fans, and even those who are more of a Trekkie fan like me. I would recommend it for 4th grade and up, or ages 8 and up, mostly because of the reading level. Younger kid could read it too. This is by E.K. Johnston, who's one of my favorite authors, so that's why I picked it up, and I highly recommend anything he has written as well.
High school, adult?
I'd say even through adult.
Okay, so grades 4 through adult would, if this is your topic. And this is a review copy from Disney. And this is a review copy from First Second Books. It's Something New, Tales from a Makeshift Bride by Lucy Knisley. And she is the New York Times bestselling author of Relish. This is a graphic novel. I would say this is aimed at mostly at girls in their 20s. The interesting thing about this book is this is the entire story of how she met the man she married, their on and off relationship, their engagement, the wedding planning, and the wedding, even a little bit afterwards. Now, while this book, I guess you could put it in a high school, but it's not really going to appeal to most high school students. It's really aimed at like college students and a little bit above. It does have some content in it that could bother some people, even though it's not necessarily inappropriate. If you have somebody who's super conservative, they may be a little confused about her bisexuality before she meets her husband, even though it's briefly mentioned. They could be a little concerned about when she was a kid, she wanted to be an OBGYN, or her parents thought she might be. They might be a little concerned about in the end when she goes to OBGYN and they show a speculum in the picture, or ask if she wants to take care of that herself. I mean that tactfully, I hope. And then at the very end, and I know this is kind of a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear it, she does have her birth control implant taken out, and that is in the pictures as well. But it's out of her arm. Just so you know, that may, if they're super conservative and you are putting this in a high school, that is something to be aware of. But I would not put it lower than that, even though there's no language, there's no really other content. So it's just really, it's actually a kind of a cute and interesting story. And it's her trying to, I don't know, tell off the wedding industry. Basically helping brides to get through the the entire over fiscalization of the weddings and how everything has to be perfect and you get bombarded with all these ads and everybody wants your money and avails $250. You can make one for 10. It's tulle and a comb for crying out loud and some super glue and thread. About a half hour to make. And then she's a feminist. And so she doesn't necessarily feel like the traditional things are for her. She doesn't want a bejeweled bodice or corset in her gown. She wants a comfortable dress that she wants to have a party in. Just the average wedding she mentions is like $30,000, which is more than half of the annual salary. And the average wedding cake's $500, just stuff like that. This is how she conquered her wedding frustrations and ended up with something that she loved. So that's something to keep in mind. I really did like this book. I thought it was interesting. It is not something I would normally pick up, but I do tend to read a lot of first, second graphic novels. It also goes into like the gifts she made for the people, wedding traditions from around the world, marketing schemes that they do, stuff like that, and how you can feel overpressured to spend way too much money on this event.
So I've read her first one, Relish, and in that one she kind of talks about more about her foodie background. Does that
Her
show up at all?
foodie background does show up in this one, and you will see that she's obsessed with her food off and on throughout the book, which is kind of fun, and that plays into her relationship and how they got started as well.
This next book is Charmed. It's number 2 in the Fairy Tale Reform School series. In the first book, Gilly got thrown into the reform school for getting caught pickpocketing food for her family. By the end of the book, she saves the day from Alva, or aka Maleficent. So this book starts out just after that one ended. Alva is back, and she's freed the evil queen from the dungeons of Fairy Tale Reform School, and the two of them are determined together to use their evil powers to take over Enchantasia. And it's up to Gilly and her friends to stop Alva before it's too late. Will they succeed? This is a very fun series if you like fairy tales. It has almost every character under the sun you can think of from every fairy tale. It has a lot of humor, well-developed characters, very fast-paced plot. I would recommend this one for grades 4 to 9 or ages 8 to about 14, just because the reading level is a little bit harder, more complex plotting. If a younger reader can read a little bit more complex plot, it'll be fine for them too.
So somewhere around here, you should be seeing our icon soon, or about now, and please hit on that to subscribe. Make sure you hit like if you like this video and share it with other people so that they can enjoy it and learn about books too. So this week we'd like to hear about anything that you would like us to make a video about. Would you like to learn more about lightning reads or high-low books, or more about dyslexia? What kind of questions do you have for librarians that you would like answered? Or do you want a video on all pink books?
Or a video on all Star Wars or sci-fi.
All right, well, until next time, happy reading, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.